man, this feels like a depressing week for Bears fans. Like it feels like a dark, gloomy cloud is over the entire fan base, and I'm ready for it to move on. I'm ready for it to be over with. I am absolutely at that point where fans are, I don't know, they're kind of overreacting. Am I wrong in saying that? I mean, I think after watching the Bears press conference just barely, like the media is driving me nuts again, the exact same way they did last year during the Justin Fields thing. It's way too blown out of proportion. And I see the correlation. And I was talking to some other creators. This whole thing about 670 the score and ESPN 1000, all those, they really drive these things way too hard. This whole thing with Tyreek Stevenson, I'm going to put in perspective here. Does everyone realize the Commanders have scored the second most points in the entire league this year? The second most points out of any team. And we held them to 12 points through 4 quarters. And now, once 60 minutes were up, there was the Hail Mary, whatever you want to call it, the Hail Mary that made us lose. But to put all this on one play and to act like the offense wasn't churning, to act like, I don't know, guys, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to go to Arizona. If you saw my score predictions, I already think we're going to blow out Arizona. I think this is the type of thing where the team learns from. And even DJ Moore in his press conference just barely says, yeah, I should have protected the team first and internalized. That's all of them being annoyed by the media right now. Like, it's way too much at this point to be hammering Tyreek Stevenson over that. If you've watched my videos, Tyreek Stevenson the second half of last year was a top 10 cornerback. I always struggle to, people have made that joke that I sound too much like cornerback and cornerback. That sounds exactly the same. Quarterback. All right. Anyways, he was a top 10. And that's not just my homer isn't on him. He in NFL pass rating against, in interceptions, in shutting down players and pass breakups, everything. In even PFF grade, which I know doesn't mean everything. So the kid's going to learn from it. I've seen the most ridiculous things out there, though, from people saying that we should waive him, that we should trade him. I mean, come on, get a grip. Like, Jalen Johnson is clearly our number one corner, but Tyreek Stevenson is an absolute stud on this team. And Matt Eberflus just barely said when they kept driving it home. They kept pounding him. And I'll get to a couple comments here in just a minute, but they kept, what's the discipline going to be? And they did that the last 2 days in a row. What's the discipline going to be? What the F do you guys care what the discipline's going to be? Like, is it your job to hold him accountable, or is that something internal and we just want to see them win on the field? That's honestly how I feel about it, because the kid made a mistake. Like, if I was hammered for every mistake I made in my life, the way that Tyreek was hammered over the way he's by the media, obviously bring it up. Post game, bring it up. Next day, bring it up. Talk about it. Get what you can as the, but then here we are, Wednesday. We are Wednesday of the next week with a game half a week away, and we're still talking about this crap. It's one loss. We're 4-3. It's one we should have won 100%. But if you watched my Bears grade video, which I did a day early, I normally do it Monday. I did it Sunday night. If you watch my Bears, I was very realistic about this loss. It's one we should have had. The defense did their job. They held them to 12 through 4 quarters. They did an excellent job. If the offense, and Caleb said this just barely in his press conference. No, yeah, it was frustrating in the moment. It's hard to see that type of loss. I don't want to see that loss. It's tough to go through. But as we sit and look at it, there's no way I should have stalled out through 2 quarters. There's no way we should have had stalled drives. In reality, this team is the second highest scoring offense in the league, the Commanders. And we just held them to 12 points, and the offense didn't do their job either. So to point at one play and act like this is all on Tyreek Stevenson, to act like, yeah, and I agree, Flus should have called a timeout. Flus should have protected the sideline. There's a bunch of things that went wrong in 30 seconds. And the Commanders clock people weren't doing the clock properly. It sucks. We've been through this before as Bears fans. We've seen this happen. We've seen this narrative happen over and over again. Good teams aren't hung up on one loss. Good teams take what just happened, fix it in practice, go out and accelerate the learning curve, the tough loss, they go fix the problem. And I truly believe that's the culture inside this team. We're not the same Bears as last year, 2 years ago. It's not the same team. So I guess I'm just getting on here venting. I realize I missed my Bears preview yesterday. I just had a crazy day, guys. I had to cancel it. I'm gonna redo it. I'm gonna do the video at some point. I'm trying to balance everything. I still work a full-time job. Anyways, everyone's got their stuff, but I didn't get my Bears Cardinals preview out, and part of it is because everyone's still hung up on this crap. So I'm gonna try to have that out by tomorrow. But the reality is, guys, we are a young team, and I'm gonna hit this home, who doesn't play a divisional game until week 11. Wouldn't you rather see us make a mistake against a good team? The Commanders are good. They're the second highest scoring offense in the league. Wouldn't you rather see us lose a heartbreaker like this to the Commanders than the Packers, than the Lions, than the Vikings? I don't want to see us lose any like that. I agree. I don't want to see any losses that go down like this. It's not fun. It turns this fan base into this. It turns the media into this. It turns that press conference into Matt Eberflus saying, look, we're handling it internally. I'm not going to go into it further. Until they're hammering that home so hard, there wasn't really any questions asked about the Cardinals. There was nothing about the Cardinals and the upcoming game. None of it. And that's all that matters right now. The Cardinals have another high-flying offense. They've got a piss-poor defense. And we have a huge opportunity with our defense to shut down their offense and our offense to pick on that defense. Shut down Will Anderson, and we basically shut down the Cardinals defense, and we can do whatever we want. This should be a game where Caleb has 5 touchdowns again. And if they're motivated off this loss, if they're motivated off of the stress and what just happened, they'll go ahead and do it. This is going to be short. I just wanted to get on a rant for a minute. I'm going to look at the chat real quick. Yeah, I know everyone's negative right now because what just happened. But guys, in 3 weeks, if we beat the Cardinals and the Patriots and the Packers, not a single person is going to be talking about the Commanders. I guarantee you that. I disagree 100%, Crimson. I like you, Crimson. You've been a big part of the channel for a long time. I disagree 100%. Matt Eberflus and his defense held the Commanders to 12 points through 4 quarters. And this fan base is completely overreacting to one loss. We're acting like we're going to be a 3-14 team again. We're 4-3. I've still got us on pace to win 10 games. Before this game, you guys know I had us on pace to win 11 games. This is a 10-win team. Just because we lost a hard game, a hard loss to the Commanders, doesn't mean we're a crap team. It doesn't mean we don't have one of the highest powered offenses out there. Doesn't mean our defense still is shutting teams down to less than 20 points a game. I'm very realistic about where we are right now, guys. I really am not panicking about this loss. It sucks. It was a tough loss. I felt it in my gut the same way you guys felt it in your gut. It was frustrating. I think Matt Eberflus's job is safe right now. I do. And that's nothing anybody agrees with right now. Make the playoffs, it all goes away. His job is safe. Is he the best head coach in the world? Obviously, he has to go through the same thing that players are going through. He's going through learning curve too. Screwing that up at the end of the game, Matt Eberflus. I agree with you guys. Matt Eberflus screwed that up. Not protecting the sidelines, not stopping the 15-yard pass. 100%. What are we going to sit and do about it? Are we going to piss and moan about it? Or just like he said in his press conference, we go through our meetings at the beginning of the week where we hold each other accountable. That's where he's held accountable too. Screwed up. He's not Bill Belichick, 15-year head coach after being a defensive coordinator and a special teams forever. He's still early in his coaching career. Do I like it? No, I do not like what just happened. But I'm also realistic to the fact that for almost a full year, he's held teams, even really good teams like the Commanders that score 30, 40 points a game and have the second most points in the league. He just held them to 12 points, minus a Hail Mary that scored 6. 18 points. That's real. That's real. That's this head coach. I'm not defending him tooth and nail. I'm not saying he's the best head coach in the world. After that loss, he's probably a little below average. Defensive coordinator position, one of the best. One of the absolute best. Absolutely love what he's done for this defense. He takes defensive backs, linebackers. He takes our defense. He hired the right guy. in Eric Washington to team up with him, and they have created, in my opinion, the best defense in the league. So Shane Waldron, same thing. He's learning. He screwed up a little bit in that game. He knows that. The 2 weeks right before that, he just put up an offense to score, and it's against the Jaguars. It's against the Panthers. Other teams aren't putting up 5 touchdowns on the Jaguars and Panthers. The Jaguars are a good team that are struggling through a tough schedule. The Jaguars will compete for that division. They won't win it, but they're going to come back and they're going to compete in that division because they're a good team. It's so short-sighted, and we're almost hitting the halfway mark that it's hard. All right, I'm going to get to the chat now. Maybe I won't get to the chat, guys. I agree. We just replaced the old coordinator 7 friggin' games ago. You're going to see a game now or then. We talked about this early on, guys. We really did. We said there's going to be a game where this offense struggles and the fan base is going to turn like that because that's what this fan base is used to. I am so eager for this game because I think they're going to come out pumping. I think right out the gate, we're going to come out pumping, and this offense is going to put up 5 touchdowns again. I really do. I really do. We got to execute. I agree 100%, Crimson. The first 3 quarters of that game on offense, frustrating, but we're going to have a game or two like that. You're going to have in the season where the Browns beat the Ravens for some fluky reason. You're going to have a reason in each season where a team that shouldn't win wins. And I really believe the Commanders shouldn't have beat us. And if we would have been clicking at all on offense, if we would have been executing out the gate, we would have blown the Commanders out of the water and people would have been talking about how good the Bears are. That's reality. And so it's not just on Tyreek and one play at the end of the game, stupid boneheaded play at the end of the game, really, really, really dumb. It's not just on that kid. I really like Tyreek Stevenson. I hope that he's the type of character and class that will learn from that mistake and not do it again. 60 minutes, game's not over. Till that last whistle's blown, keep doing it. This is never going to happen. That we're never getting Ben Johnson. Number one, Matt Eberflus is your coach next year, guys. He's signed through 26, and he's improved the team every year, and we have the best defense in the league. We've got the right people in position. This whole talk about Ben Johnson, that's not happening. On top of that, the McCaskies are not going to open up their checkbook to sign a blank check to Ben Johnson, which is what it's going to take. Shane Waldron needs to improve, and he's doing that. I think the team can help him do that. Yeah, I get you. I get you. But there's a lot of that talk. So not trying to attack on you or hit on you, but there's a lot of that talk right now about already firing Flus and getting Ben Johnson. So, all right, that's it. I wanted to keep it 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to say this. This is my last thought. We'll let you guys go, and then I'm going to try to get my preview for the Cardinals out tomorrow. We have our quarterback. You watched the end of that game, and I mentioned this in my post game. I do my grades. I mentioned this. Caleb not only drove once, but twice because we fumbled on the goal line. He did 2 game-winning comebacks at the end of that game. It proved that he has the tenacity, the fortitude. He has the ability to go get it done. I 100% believe in that. Why it didn't happen the first 3 quarters? People have off games. It happens. He had a rough go at the start of the game. It happens. Whether it was pressure from being in his hometown or they schemed up well and they prepared and he wasn't ready for it and their defense line was really in his face. Agree. All those things could have been whatever. It threw him off his game. He wasn't there. For a rookie quarterback to look as good as he did the last 3 weeks before that, and then to have a couple bad quarters, I can excuse it 100%. I am 100% all in on Caleb Williams. I see greatness in him, and I think we've got him. Our defense is phenomenal, and I can't wait to see how both come out clicking. Both offense and defense come out against this Cardinals game. It's a pick'em game right now in Vegas. Pick'em game, which means we are slightly favored because we're on the road. But it's a pick'em game. And I think we're going to come out high-powered. I'll give my preview tomorrow. Appreciate all you guys in the chat. Appreciate everyone who's staying level-headed. Try to let this one go, guys. It really is crazy what I'm hearing from the media, from Twitter, from off with his head. Like, it's nuts. And I just want to share that with you guys because it's not level-headed. And this team is a really good team, and we have really good potential. We're facing the division week 11. The next 2 weeks, I'd like to see us fine-tune it, get ready for the Packers, and then destroy the Packers. That's what I want to see. I know that's what everyone wants to see. So, till next time, appreciate you guys tuning in for my little rant. Bear down.